Okay, now let's talk about time routing. And time routing is based off the system time, the actual time condition or time group that you actually configure. Older legacy systems had one system time, and the system itself, based off that time configuration, had the entire system either be in an open mode or a closed mode. One of the powerful things with Vox IP is you can actually get as specific down to an inbound DID and how that call is going to be routed based off the time condition that's configured just for that number. This makes the Vox IP system very easily to move into a multi-tenant environment where you can have 1,000 numbers, 1,000 different time conditions and time groups, and route that number based off what time you apply to it. So for example, let's say we had our sales department that's open from 8 to 5, but we wanted our service department to be open from 7 to 9. We can actually have a specific number for our sales, and between the hours of 8 and 5, it routes to the sales group, and then after that, it would route to a closed auto attendant IVR, while still the service number is still answering calls, because we can, like I said before, get as specific down to each individual DID, analog port, SIP trunk, whatever incoming line, and have that routable based off its own time configuration. So let's go ahead and look at this real quick. Applications, and what you want to do is you want to set up your time groups first, okay? And what you do with a time group is you say, hey, this time start, this time finish, this weekday start, this weekday finish. This is what I want these time settings to be applied to this number. So let's go and just make it simple, like for our sales group. We're going to say 8 a.m. to 5 o'clock. That's going to be open Monday through Friday. Now, if this condition doesn't match, it's going to have what they call a failed match, and it's going to do something else, and you'll see this when we make a time condition. But the time groups is what you have to add. Now, it's real easy. As you can see, we have 8 to 5, but let's say we wanted to have Saturday hours, but they're totally different. We just add another time condition, let's say from 10 to 4 o'clock. Oh, excuse me. Let's put the minutes in there. Make sure. To 4 o'clock. And we're only going to have that on Saturday. So these are match conditions. Do this if it matches these time of days. If it doesn't, fell over to the unmatched condition. So let's go ahead and we have to give it a name. So let's just go ahead and call it open hours. Once again, call whatever you want. Submit. Let's go ahead and apply to make that permanent, and you'll see that now we can actually go to time conditions. So time group is where you actually make the actual time settings. Go back up here to application time conditions, and this is what's going to happen when the conditions are met. You tell it what to do, and it gives you the current server time right now. So I'm going to add a condition, and I'm just going to call it open. Now, one of the things you can do is you can actually have on somebody's phone, let's say it's Christmas Eve, and Christmas Eve you close your office Friday. Normally on Fridays it's 5 o'clock, but today we want to close it at noon. You can actually put in a pin, put it on somebody's phone, and they can override it to change the override. Or you can come in here and actually choose one of these overrides. And just real quick, reset the override to the default settings. Temporarily match it just for today. Permanently match it. Temporarily unmatch it. And permanently unmatch. So you have the ability to make these conditions either temporary or permanent. If you leave it to unchanged, it's just set to the default. You can use your system time zone. We have to select the time group because remember we have to give it the hours that it's going to apply this to. So once again, let's say during the normal open hours, we're going to run this to our ring group sales. And if it doesn't match, we're going to send it to the IVR. And we're going to, if we had a closed IVR, we could have that. And that's how simple it is to set up time routing on your system. Now, in the next video, I'll show you in our inbound and outbound routing how you apply this. But once again, create a time group. Make the hours of your open hours, leave the closed hours out of those values, and then come and create you a time condition. And once again, if it matches, it's going to do something. If it doesn't match, it does another operation. We'll hit submit. Let's go ahead and save this. And while we're saving this, we'll go ahead and move on to the next video. Thank you for watching.